Hello, everyone. I am Jared Hall, hanging out in the Entertainment Weekly Comic-Con 2024 studio with the cast of Transformers 1. We've got Brian Tyree Henry, Chris Hemsworth, and Keegan-Michael Key. Gents, how are you?
We're doing well. How are you doing, man?
Good to see you, Jared.
Yeah, exactly. Nice and warm here in Southern California, but soaking in that breeze where we can. You guys, this your panel today, lots of folks really excited for this because this fandom, I mean, God, I was a huge fan when I was a kid and took in everything. I still have action figures packed away in the family's basement back home. I'll start with you, Chris, with this because you know a little something about popular IPs. Were you able to take your experience with Marvel and apply it here with this fandom in any way?
I was just excited to be here. You know, I hadn't been here since I think Ragnarok, and then it starts bringing up memories about the very first time I was here with Avengers 1 and Thor 1. It was 12 years ago or something.
Wow.
And there's no better fan base or audience than coming to the San Diego Comic-Con Hall H and being met with that kind of enthusiasm and the appreciation and love for these characters and stories is equal to what we have brought to it and we feel, and I really love it here. It's unmatched, this experience.
Yeah. Brian, tell me this. A lot of folks are really interested in what this dynamic's going to be like because this film is it's an origin story of Optimus Prime and Megatron when they were actually allies. So what do you think folks might be a little surprised to see in the process of this story unfolding?
That they really enjoyed each other. Like that they actually were truly brothers that, didn't go anywhere without one another, that really cared about one another, that would do anything for one another. But also to see that they also had hopes and dreams and what happens when, you become disillusioned and you really have to stand up for what you believe in. It really feels like, like a coming of age, like college buddy story. You're sent off, to find out who we are. We discover each other, and then, we just venture off to figure out who we really are. But I think that you'll see a lot of heart as well in this movie, which is what I really love because all of these characters, when we got them, it was very action-packed, which this still is, but like there is story behind them. There is personality. Like you'll even see them emote, you'll see us like scream and I don't want to say cry, but like you'll see a lot of emotion, and that's what we're hoping that the viewers walk away with is actually caring about these characters that we've known for so long.
Yeah. Keegan, I get the sense that you, like myself, a longtime fan.
Long-time fan from a long ago. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
The biggest fan, possibly.
From the longest, the longest
yeah.
ever goes.
Wikipedia.
I could say he's definitely the biggest fan. but I guess
Your biggest fan.
Oh, Chris. No, I am a person who watched the cartoon in my formative years. Came home every afternoon after school, watch it, and I invested in the characters, and also because there was something very classic about there's something always very classic about pure good versus pure evil, and then all of it was black and white. It was very binary when I was a kid, and this movie is gray.
Wait, the cartoon was
super,
black and white when
when I watched it, it was black and white.
I was like, really? I didn't know that.
In the 40s.
Yes,
right.
in the 1940s. Yeah, I had the first television. But a very kind of basic sense of good and evil. And this movie is very, just to go back to the white-black metaphor, this movie is very gray. And you, as Brian was saying, there's a lot of depth to these characters, and you get to see their points of view. And in a way, you want the audience to struggle with this them kind of defecting from each other and all of the things that take place in their life. So I was so thrilled and honored to be a part of this because it made me it harkened back to that time, and I can use all of that knowledge to go, oh, so this is what happened. And I want everybody who's in my age group or in younger than me, people who are fans of the franchise, to go, so that's what I want people to come away with is this is what happened. Yeah,
I'm excited for that. As it goes with doing voiceover work, I'm curious if you guys had ideas of what you wanted the characters to sound like, and then you maybe presented it to director Josh Cooley, and he was like, no, I just want you. I want you. I want you with perhaps a little more gravitas. I mean, people will be shocked to know you actually have a really high-pitched voice, and you lowered it for this.
Thanks,
right.
The octave is just terrible. That's the great thing about Josh is that he is a fan of this as well. And it really makes a difference when you're working with collaborating with someone who is a fan of it, who really holds it precious and wants to, take care of it. And so what was really great about Josh is that you knew you were doing something pretty great when you could see his inner child like bust out, and like it was always a discovery. I remember knowing that it was going to be Chris, and I was like, well, we hadn't met each other yet, but I was like reading the script and I was like, oh, well, we're very comfortable with each other. There's a lot of care. I remember thinking the first thing I went out, I was like, at some point I'm going to say I am Megatron, right? And so you know what that is, but then like everything that led up to it is your discovery. And so for me, playing one of the most iconic villains, and I put air quotes because I'm always like, villains don't start that way.
Right.
And
they don't think of themselves that
They don't.
way.
They really fight for what they believe is true, and they're fighting against what they believe is unjust. But I was like, oh, well, where's his levity? Like, where is D16's levity? Does he laugh? Does he get scared? Like, what are the things he really champions for? And so Josh just allowed us to bring a lot of elements of who we are in there and just knock it out that way.
It was one of my first questions. I said, well, am I wanting me to mimic Peter Cullen and do that? Just go get Peter Cullen, and and he said, no, this is it's the origin story, as you say, but these are different versions of these characters. They're not, or Optimus Prime that we know and love, the all-knowing, powerful, omnipresent, godlike figure. This is the brash, young, cocky teenage version, and he's finding his feet, and he's full of hopes and aspirations and so on, but he's anti-authority and doesn't really want to follow the rules, and he has a very strong opinion, and he's breaking rules and so on. And that was what was intriguing, because the idea of this, following Peter Cullen was intriguing, exciting, and terrifying. And so I was thankful that we got to create our own thing, and then toward the end of the film, as just for myself, with Orion Pax becoming Optimus Prime, we played a little bit more with the cadence and the rhythm of what Peter Cullen had done so brilliantly, and hint a little bit toward. But it was an ongoing sort of exploration. There'd be days when you'd push it a bit far or not far enough, and then I'd hear what the other cast were doing as well, and go, oh, okay, that's funny, we could try this. And there was a lot more sort of humour to it. It's heartbreaking as well, but it's fun. It's an adventure film. It's great.
Yeah. Keegan, did you get the chance to improv? Because there's a moment that is, I think, might be a nod to the Aaron-tron. Did you get to?
That was not me.
Oh,
that was written. Somebody else wrote that. That was in the script.
Did they know you were already?
At that time, they must have known. I think they'd known. Yeah, it was. I think it was written for me when they knew I had said yes, but it was somebody else's idea, which shows you how much fun everybody was having in the process. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that was very. That was very sweet. I thought I was very sweet, and I was really on board for that. And to answer your previous question, when it came to Josh, I was game to do anything he wanted. I do a lot. I like doing voiceover, and I like the challenge of sometimes saying, I want someone to walk out of a movie and go, that was Keegan-Michael Key? and in this one, Josh said, I want it as close to you as possible. I want B to be a version of you. And so it was interesting to kind of. I was unfettered in regard to having changed my timbre or my pitch or anything like that. And it was actually quite an interesting experience to be able to just kind of, it was a little naked. It was just me. Yeah.
Like it physically in the studio.
In the booth.
Just to be clear.
It was a must from Josh.
That's his
we didn't wear
process.
pants.
Yeah.
Wait for those DVD extras. Chris, I got to ask, you are going to be part of the live-action Transformers G.I. Joe.
I don't know yet.
We don't know yet.
I keep getting asked about it, and look, Lorenzo had brought it up when I was recording this film, and Lorenzo Bonaventura has created this world and been so brilliant at bringing the films to life. And we started talking about where the universe could expand and how fun it could be, and look, I'm just down for great filmmakers, great scripts, great stories. And there's a lot of potential in this universe, in both the sort of G.I. Joe world and the Transformers world, to recreate, try something different. I think that's really fun, to give something to audiences that is, a new take and something fresh. But it's in that sort of early creative discussion stage. Nothing official, but
okay.
But it could be cool.
You would be in the same capacity, voice, or we don't know yet.
I'm not even sure. And this is I was like, am I going to be like talking to myself? Am I still going to play Optimus Prime and then switch over to G.I. Joe and be
Right.
like, oh,
Regardless, I'm gonna watch it. You know what I mean?
Not paying for that ticket. Yeah.
do I get paid twice? What's happening here?
And yes,
Yes, you get paid twice.
That's the important question. Yeah. Well, as we start to wrap up here, we are taking a look back at the history of EW, and we have some OG covers here. I do believe this is the first time you would have appeared on the cover of Entertainment Weekly. Chris, here we go, as Thor, speaking of Avengers earlier, your first EW cover.
Oh, look at
First
and
wig.
those
That
locks.
wig. How's that?
Goldie
those
locks.
are called tresses. You know what I mean? Those are called tresses. That's what that is.
You look so young and healthy. Just depressing.
Not
Put it away.
broken. Not at all broken.
Not old, man.
And then we've got Keegan here, the old
Oh my
comedy
gosh,
issue.
yes, that
Do you
was-
remember
You
that?
haven't changed a bit.
Yes, I remember this.
Clearly
This was
trying to
great.
break each other's necks or something.
That was the first. That was the first. Yeah, that was the first cover that we were on. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's beautiful.
The cruelest joke is that I got to hold both of your EW covers.
I'm like, wait, what are you doing?
And
You
Brian,
have been on the cover. It was a digital cover,
Yeah, it's a digital
Eternals. Right,
cover.
right. So we'll make a print one happen.
Oh, that's so
somehow.
kind.
So, you know, one of our special issues. We'll make that happen. Guys, it has been a pleasure. Congrats on the film, and for however much longer you're here, enjoy Comic-Con.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Jared.
yeah, thanks for
Yeah.
coming
Thanks so
through.
much.
Don't go anywhere. We have more interviews coming up and full coverage at EW.com.